Welcome to the SVG-TV Evening News for Monday, May 30th. I'm Khalil Kato with the details. With the launch of Vincimas 2022 around the corner, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonzales says he is hoping that no major virus outbreak affects the island during the celebration. Prime Minister Gonzales said there is always concern that COVID-19 cases could spike, and the recent outbreak of the monkeypox virus increases concern for local health officials. As of May 28th, active cases of COVID-19 in SVG stood at 96, with 7 persons hospitalized. While cases of the monkeypox virus have not yet been recorded in any island in the region, Caribbean leaders are on alert. Prime Minister Gonzales said he expects that senior health officials, including the Minister of Health and Wellness, Sinclair Prince, who met with the Director General of the World Health Organization last week, will provide updates on what precautions need to be taken by SVG.
Yesterday afternoon too, while I came in from Cuba, Jimmy Prince and his team, including the Chief Medical Officer and Mrs. Bascom, who's a fantastic professional in the Ministry of Health, they came in, and I'm sure that you will get reports as to what transpired at the World Health Organization. You can follow some of it online. But they will tell us of what the relevance in relation to what we're doing here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, and that is monkeypox undoubtedly would have arisen. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we don't have any significant outbreak of any of these public health infections to not let us have carnival at.
The Prime Minister also says he predicts that the uncertainty surrounding COVID-19 may prevent carnival from being held on a massive scale, as what occurred prior to the global pandemic.
We may not see, and I don't know yet, we may not see the full extent of the creativity, because you need a lot more time to prepare intricate mass costumes and for high quality soca songs and calypsos, and to do all the preparation for the arrangement for the pan pieces and the like. But I think despite the short time, relatively speaking, because and uncertainty which was going around with carnival.
Over 50 nurses, both active and retired, received awards for their hard work and contribution to the nursing fraternity. This as the SVG Nurses Association held their first award and recognition ceremony last Friday at the Peace Memorial Hall. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, Cuthbert Knights, said the award ceremony is to help the nurses better understand the importance and value that is placed on them.
I know that you are very busy working. Sometimes you may not find time to eat or even to take care of yourself, but you find the time to make us well when we need your help. That is a selfless love. That is dedication and commitment to what you are doing. I once got myself into trouble when I said that the nurses basically, for want of a better word, keeps the health system, carries the burden of the health system. 24 hours, 7 days a week, you are there. That is a daunting task. You leave your children, you leave your husband, you leave your wives, even sometimes your ailing mom and dad. And I sometimes see you at the side of the road, waiting to journey home.
Praising the work that nurses have been doing, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, Knights encouraged them to continue to do their best.
But I want to encourage you, persevere, tarry, don't give up. I know it is hard. The nurse said once in that corner that she has touched many lives, and she really and truly see the joy in helping parents and children. Our nurse also here said that she finds passion in what she does. And I'm sure you also will have for yourself your own experience and the reason why you persisted in nursing. So I want to encourage you again, no matter what the challenge is, stick to it. And when I speak of challenge, and as the moderator would have said, COVID-19 have really brought home something significant to me. Many of our nurses left, not necessarily because of COVID-19, and I do not blame them, but you have stuck to the task.
Knights further commended the Nurses Association for always having the nurses' best interest at heart.
Association. It is a very important organization. You would have two very important bodies, organizations, in your life and your profession. The Nursing Council, which plays a very regulatory role, and the association, which builds a lot of advocacy for you. And I know for years, the Nursing Association has been working very hard. You know, when I sat back there, I said to myself, where did they find the money? Or where did they find the resources to do this? And again, it shows that the Nurses Association also have you at their very heart. Now I can tell you, putting off an event like this is not very simple. There's a lot of work, a lot of coordination. So I want you also to recognize the value and importance of your association and to really and truly put this activity together for you tonight. I also must recognize and commend them.
The awards ceremony forms part of celebrations for International Nurses Week 2022. The consumption of healthy foods is the leading cause of early death in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is the view expressed by Professor Alafia Samuels of the University of the West Indies Mona campus. Professor Samuels delivered remarks at the closeout of the Food and Nutrition FAN project, which is a regional collaboration between the UWI and the International Development and Research Agency. The project was hosted in 3 Caribbean territories: Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The nutrition expert said the project focused on finding ways to encourage Caribbean people to eat more locally grown foods. The project conducted a number of initiatives, including revision of the secondary school's curriculum and grants to small farmers.
So we really are trying to encourage you through this project to find ways of eating a more healthy diet. So some of the things that we did is that we revised the curriculum at primary school level. So the HFLE curriculum, in fact, this morning we had a meeting upstairs with some teachers talking about it and sharing some digital content, some videos and so on to help. And then we also revised the curriculum at secondary level. So I don't know if any of you in here take a subject called integrated science. You took it. Okay, so depending on where you are, some of what you learned this year is likely to have been changes that we made to the curriculum to include things like hidden sources of salt, hidden sources of sugar. There's a display in the back there that shows you some products and shows you how much sugar is in the product. Sometimes, for example, you see a box mark, fruit juice. So you say to yourself, well, this is a healthy thing, right? Wrong. Because sometimes those fruit juices have just as much sugar as the sugar-sweetened beverages.
Professor Samuels said the incidence of non-communicable diseases in SVG continue to rise, especially for childhood obesity, and warns Vincentians that the consumption of unhealthy processed foods can reduce their lifespan by up to 10 years.
Find ways for Caribbean people to eat more natural, eat more plant-based foods. Do you know, for example, that in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, where they are vegetarian, they don't drink alcohol or smoke cigarettes, and of course they have the church community to help with their mental health. They live 10 years longer than the rest of us. 10 years is what you're losing by your unhealthy lifestyle. And it's not just loss of life, because I know you're all young and think you're going to live forever, but trust me, I used to be young one time. Okay, all of us used to be young one time. That's how we get to this stage, right? So you feel great now and you feel you have many years in front of you. But let me tell you, there are some of you in this, well, actually, you're all in here looking pretty good. But, you know, young people who are obese, 10% of them have high blood pressure. High blood pressure is not something anybody in this room at your age should have. But if you put on too much weight, you will get it. And from you get it young, you know that going down the line is going to be more problems.
Several important issues such as climate change will be discussed at the 9th meeting of the OECS Council of Ministers on Environmental Sustainability to be held here in SVG over a 3-day period. The meeting will be held at the Beachcombers Hotel from tomorrow, Tuesday to Thursday. Speaking with the Agency for Public Information API, Minister of Tourism and Sustainable Development Carlos James said it is important to have conversations about environmental sustainability and protecting the environment, especially with the impact of climate change. The chair of the Council of Ministers is rotated on an annual basis in the alphabetical order of the member states, and this year St. Vincent and the Grenadines has assumed the role as chair and host of the 9th meeting of the Council of Ministers. The meeting will kick off with an opening ceremony at 9 a.m. tomorrow at the Beachcombers Hotel, following which there will be a meeting of technical officers. Day 2 will see the Ministers of Environmental Sustainability's official meeting, and on Day 3 there will be a tour along the Leeward coast and a trip to the La Soufrière Volcano Observatory in Belmont. Director General of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS, Dr. Didacus Jules, has expressed great optimism in the creation of a sustainable conch industry, which will help to create livelihoods and preserve this important resource for future generations. His comments came as he spoke after the conclusion of a 2-day regional workshop of the OECS Blue Biotrade Action Plan for the Queen Conch value chain at the Sunset Shores Hotel.
Number of marine delicacies that we traditionally have eaten in the Caribbean that are in danger of becoming extinct from overexploitation to varying degrees. You have the Queen Conch, you have sea egg, you have lobster. These are very, valuable delicacies on the global market. So we have looked at this and looked at the opportunities in what we call the blue economy and the need therefore to exploit that better. And we recognize that we have to do this in a manner that is sustainable. So we cannot just keep taking from the deep and not ensuring the replenishment and the restoration of the stock. The Queen Conch represents at the moment one of the most lucrative opportunities. St. Vincent exports several thousand tons of pounds of this every year. I noticed that we visited the rainforest operation here, and so we felt that this was an opportunity for us to really make full use of that and do so in a sustainable manner.
This workshop brought together fisheries stakeholders from across the region, as well as representatives from the European Union and the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development Unit. The trade in conch has been estimated at a current but increasing value of $68 million, with data from sites showing that between 1992 and 2001, 21.61 million pounds of conch was exported from the region. This important resource is, however, threatened by overfishing and climate change. Conchs take around 4 to 5 years to become mature for reproduction, with hatcheries providing a safe environment for them to grow and reproduce. Union Island is set to have a hatchery established.
Actually, it will involve all of the OECS member states, but the initial start of the thing will be St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia and Grenada, because at the moment the locus of the trade is in this cluster of these 3 islands. And the idea would be to begin by constructing a hatchery in Union Island, because Union Island sort of is at the center of this and can be a good point for dissemination of the hatchlings. Well, taking the egg of the conch and then growing it takes about 4 years gestation to full maturity. So the idea would be that we're going to have a facility near the sea where you can cultivate those eggs to a point of where they can be returned to the wild for growth, for full growth, and then resourced by the fishermen.
The OECS Director General said the creation of a hatchery on Union Island was one of the key issues discussed, and believes that such a facility will be of critical importance to the sustainability of the conch industry. He added that all supporting architecture, including legal, scientific, and financial, must be put in place to allow the industry to grow organically. Prime Minister Dr. Gonzales has described the exclusion of Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua from the upcoming 9th Summit of the Americas as an arrogant and erroneous decision. Speaking at a cultural event held in Havana, Cuba, over the weekend to celebrate the 30 years of diplomatic relations between Cuba and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Gonzales reiterated his position that there will be no prime ministerial representation from SVG at the summit if an invitation is not extended to the mentioned countries by U.S. President Joe Biden. The United States will host the summit from June 6th to 10th in Los Angeles, and they have reportedly said that they will only be inviting countries whose leaders, quote, respect democracy.
We will continue to struggle together against the illegal and criminal embargo by the United States of America against Cuba, and we consider the decision by the current United States government not to issue an invitation to Cuba, the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, and Nicaragua to attend the Summit of the Americas as wrong, arrogant, and insulting. And I will not be in Los Angeles unless Cuba, the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, and Nicaragua are invited to attend that summit on equal condition.
Prime Minister Gonzales said the relationship between Cuba and SVG is a strong one, adding that the countries will continue to support each other.
First official visit to Cuba was in September 2001, just after the terrorist attack in the United States on September the 11th. And it's the first time then that I met Fidel. And we developed over the years a tremendous personal friendship and relationship. He was like my father, my older brother, and I listened to him quite a lot. He was a guide, as a mentor, and I loved him very much. And I still love him. And of course, I got very close to Raul and the other leaders of the Cuban government, the Cuban Revolution. And we have built together between St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Cuba a very strong relationship. And there are so many practical forms of cooperation that we have had in all different fields. And Cuba has assisted us selflessly and generously.
The 2022 hurricane season is set to begin on June 1st and is already predicted by experts to be above average, with 14 to 21 named storms, including 3 to 6 major hurricanes. In an interview with NBC Radio this morning, manager of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Meteorological Services, Billy Jeffers, urged Vincentians to get prepared so they are not caught off guard.
When I say active season or above average season, I mean that the historical average of 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes will be surpassed. And this would be the 7th consecutive year that we are having, an above average season. Now, I'm going into the specifics now. In terms of NOAA, they are forecasting 14 to 21 named storms, 6 to 10 hurricanes, and 3 to 6 major hurricanes. So, we can expect a very busy season ahead. I would also want to sound a caution. While these forecasts are good for us, meteorologists and those who work in disaster management, we use this forecast to plan for the season ahead, but, the forecast doesn't tell us when the system will form, or, where they will form, or, where they're likely to impact. So, we should be ready at all times, and I will go further by stating I think we should take the seasonal forecast as our first early warning and prepare accordingly. Yes, we do expect a busy season ahead.
Jeffers, who is also linked to Nemo SVG, said the organization has been playing its part in informing the public on the upcoming hurricane season and took the time to remind persons that hurricanes are multi-hazardous systems that could affect the island in a number of ways. Hence, they need to be prepared for any eventuality.
We are always in contact, obviously, and I know Nemo, they have their activities ongoing. I think last week they had a few whistle stops ongoing, and for this week we have some planned programs to start the season off. So I have some key reminders for the population. Now, be reminded that storms and hurricanes, they are multi-hazard systems, and this means that you can be affected by strong winds, heavy rainfall, or storm surge, rough seas, right? So you have to know your vulnerability to these hazards.
Chief Executive Officer of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Electricity Services Limited, VINLEC, Thornley Myers, was recently recognized for his outstanding contribution to the Caribbean Electric Utility Services Corporation, CARILEC, at the Chief Executive Officers Conference held in Nassau, Bahamas from May 15th to 19th. Following a hiatus of 2 years, the conference was held under the theme, Leadership Matters, Living and Learning Through Disruption and Dislocation. In addition to attending the Chief Executive Officers Conference, Myers attended the 128th meeting of the Board of Directors of CARILEC. At this meeting, he tendered his resignation after 18 years as a member of the board. He was first elected to the board in 2004 and served as deputy chairman from 2011 to 2013, and subsequently as chairman from 2013 to 2015. During the meeting, board members expressed profound appreciation to Myers for his contribution to the board and the organization over the years. Members spoke of Myers' willingness to express his views on all matters relating to the organization and the candor with which he often did. As chairman of the Learning and Development Committee, he was instrumental in overseeing the development of the Regional Electricity Utility Lineman Certification Program and helping to shape the organization into the premier institution in the region on matters relating to electricity generation, transmission, and distribution. Directors of CARILEC wished Myers all the best in his future endeavors and made a request for him to be available to contribute to the organization when called upon. At the opening ceremony of the CEO's conference, Myers' contribution was extolled, and he was presented with a plaque in honor of his years of dedicated service to CARILEC's Board of Directors. CARILEC is the regional umbrella body for electricity utilities in the English, French, and Spanish-speaking Caribbean, with a membership of 32 electric utilities. CARILEC also has 83 associate and affiliate members throughout the Western Hemisphere who are suppliers of goods and services to electric utilities. After weeks of gathering food items, Form 2 Room 1 students of the Thomas Saunders Secondary School today handed them over as a donation to the Liberty Lodge Boys School. The items were handed over to the Assistant Director of the Child Development Unit, Kenroy Boucher, on behalf of the Liberty Lodge Boys. Speaking at the handing over ceremony, Form 2 Room 1 teacher of the Thomas Saunders Secondary School, Shanique Stewart, said that by teaching the children to be involved in humanitarian activities from an early age, this will serve them well in the future.
The mission for this project was to ensure that the boys who are usually rejected in a sense, they have something from their parents, something to eat, because I know food is the start of love, right? Once you eat something good and nice, it warms your heart, it warms your stomach. So I wanted the class of 2 Room 1 to have something that is humanitarian wise, not just education, so that they can learn how to be selfless and help a brother in need, right? So I hope that this goes a long way and it doesn't stop with 2 Room 1, and it actually creates a chain reaction to help these boys to continuously have food, right? So
on behalf of the principal, staff, students, ancillary staff, and everyone associated with the parents and guardians, all of the Thomas Saunders Secondary School, again, we would like to say how much we like this opportunity, and we really embrace the opportunity to partner with the Liberty Lodge Boys Home.
Sending love to the Liberty Lodge boys, students of the class did so through several poems and songs.
Minister of National Mobilization, the Permanent Secretary of National Mobilization, the SAS, and the Director of Child Development, we would like to thank the Form 2 Room 1 for your generous gift to the Liberty Lodge Boys Training Center. As we know, the Liberty Lodge Boys Training Center, we cater for boys from 7 to 18 years old that are boys for care and protection and boys who are in conflict with the law. And this good generation donation today will go a long way in helping the boys at the center. As a part of our, because we have to buy food stuff for the boys, so this donation will go a long way in helping the boys at the center. And as we go forward with the boys at the center, I must say that come on soon at the center.
Speaking on behalf of the Ministry of National Mobilization, Assistant Director Boucher expressed appreciation to the Thomas Saunders Secondary students for the donation.
Mobilization, the Permanent Secretary of National Mobilization, the SAS, and the Director of Child Development, we would like to thank the Form 2 Room 1 for your generous gift to the Liberty Lodge Boys Training Center. As we know, the Liberty Lodge Boys Training Center, we cater for boys from 7 to 18 years old that are boys for care and protection and boys who are in conflict with the law. And this good generation donation today will go a long way in helping the boys at the center. As a part of our, because we have to buy food stuff for the boys, so this donation will go a long way in helping the boys at the center. And as we go forward with the boys at the center, I must say that come on soon at the center will be our poultry project. And I must give that our poultry project is where the boys will be rearing birds to sell to the public and rearing of eggs to the public. So on behalf of the center and all the boys and the staff, I want to thank the Form 2 Room 1 for your generous donation.